Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate that kind introduction and look forward to your wisdom and insight this year. That sets the bar very high. I'd also like to personally thank Madam Chairman Bell. You did not have an easy environment to operate the Chamber in this past year, and you did a tremendous job. I think we accomplished a tremendous amount. And personally, I want to thank you for your friendship and your support this year. Thank you very much. And I can't go on without thanking the Chamber team. They served as your hostesses this evening. This is an incredible group of people. I have never worked with a 4-star accredited Chamber team before, but I'd like you to join me in thanking Linda Parsons and Peggy Manuel, Danica Bunch, Jessica Johnson, Mary Garrick, and Carol Gerdes for the great work that they do each and every day. Thank you very much. Some of you may know my good friend and fellow Rotarian, John Wittenstrom. I called John a couple of days ago and said, "John, you coming to the banquet?" He said, "No, I'm not." I said, "Well, why don't you come to the banquet?" I didn't tell him I was going to be talking about him once I got up here, so I kind of caught him off guard. In fact, he even had his wife change her hair appointment. Or was that your hair appointment? Her hair appointment. I knew one of you had a hair appointment. I was just a little bit confused. But John's a fellow Rotarian, but he's not just a fellow Rotarian. John believes so strongly in the Rotary mission that 2 years ago, you were the president. 2 years ago, John was the president of the Pinehurst Rotary Club. Now, if you know anything about Rotary, you might be familiar with a phenomenon they call the happy dollars. Every week, thank you. Do you have a happy dollar for that? Every week, before the Rotary meeting starts, before the program and the presentation, they go around the room and Rotarians have an opportunity to contribute a happy dollar. And they give a happy dollar for, oh, my football team won last night, or I've been married for 25 years and my wife hasn't kicked me out of the house yet, those types of things. Well, every week, John reaches into his pocket at Rotary and he pulls out a dollar and he puts it right there on the table. And as he's listening to all the other Rotarians share what they're happy about and contribute their happy dollars, he always reaches back in his pocket and he pulls out another dollar, or he pulls out another 2, or another 5 even. And so when it gets to John's turn, he gets up with this wad of money and he says, "I've got a happy dollar for my foursome that beat the other foursome, and I've got a happy dollar for my child who did this, or my grandchild who did that. But invariably, with the last dollar or 2 or even 5, John says, "And this dollar is because it's the right thing to do." You know, the Chamber is filled with people like John Wittenstrom. People who roll up their sleeves and get down and start doing the work just because it's the right thing to do. And tonight, I'd like to take a moment or two to thank a couple of those groups of people who give to the Chamber day in and day out. And they don't do it because they want the recognition or a pat on the back. They don't expect customers to be lined up at their door the next morning as a result of that. They do it because it's the right thing to do. They believe in the mission of the Chamber of Commerce that strongly. Earlier this evening, you met the members of our Board of Directors for 2011. This is the group of people who sets the strategic direction for the Chamber. This is a very important job, not only for the Chamber, but for the community as a whole. And we'll share a little bit about that in a minute. But this job is by no means easy. Over the past couple of years, they have really struggled and wrestled with how does the Chamber maintain its level of service, even increase its level of service to its members when revenues are declining. That may be a bit of a puzzle some of you are facing in your business as well. This is a group of people that has discussed and debated whether our value proposition expresses the true value that we have, the true significance that we have in the community as a whole. This is a group that has dissected the Chamber and looked at every single program and every single event to make sure that it's the right program and the right event for our Chamber of Commerce to be offering. They've determined a course for membership recruitment recently. A strategy that says we're going to recruit for retention. We're going to develop member profiles, an ideal profile of a member, and then we're going to go after those types of businesses that share the values that we share as a Chamber of Commerce and as a business community. On a monthly basis, they pour through a meeting packet of 40 or 50 pages long of recommendations, of reports, of opportunities that they have. And they go through this so that when they come to the board meeting, they're educated and they're prepared to discuss this intelligently and make decisions that steer the course of our organization. They often pay to attend programs and events like the annual Banquet out of their own pockets. And they do all of this not because they're looking for recognition, but because it's the right thing for them to do. And our board has a few very, very powerful partners along with them, our chamber champions. These companies commit to supporting the chamber over and above their annual membership dues. As a matter of fact, these companies listed here collectively account for somewhere around 15% of the total income of the chamber. Now let me share with you an example, a real-life example of how this partnership works between the board and the chamber champions. Some of the most important programs that we offer are through our Moore County Leadership Institute, MCLI. Well, the board sets the direction for what programs we are going to develop and implement in the community. And then it's our chamber champions that help to provide the resources for that program development. And it's then when the programs are implemented that they impact the community significantly. Let me give you two examples of that. The More Fit initiative. It began as an MCLI group project. And here we are a couple years later, and this project is now fostering healthy lifestyles throughout the community, which is obviously affecting our workforce in a very positive way. Let me share another example with you. Over the past 12 to 15 months, 20 new people have been trained and prepared to serve on not-for-profit boards of directors through the MCLI not-for-profit program. Now, there's no doubt that these programs have a very positive and a very dramatic benefit for our community. But when you think about 20 new people being trained and prepared to serve on not-for-profit boards of directors, how do you measure the value of that? I mean, we know that they are going to help those organizations operate more effectively and more efficiently, but how do you measure that? Similarly, how do you quantify the value of a more or of a healthier workforce? A healthier workforce is going to show up for work. They're not going to miss as much work. They're going to be more productive. There are going to be less insurance claims, which makes my chairman happy. But how do you quantify the fact that we have a healthier workforce now in Moore County? Well, these things wouldn't happen without the Moore County Leadership Institute. So I want to thank the Board of Directors and I want to thank our Chamber Champions just because of this example alone. Because every year they make a commitment to support the Chamber over and above. But at the same time, we need to recognize that not every organization has somebody within it that has the time to serve on the board. We recognize that not every organization has the resources to become a chamber champion. So I want you to think about John's Happy Dollars. Each week he gives $1 or $2 because it's the right thing to do, because he believes that strongly in the mission of Rotary. Pretty small contribution, right? Well, think about the impact that dollar has week after week, and then compounded over the number of years that John has been a Rotarian. Think about the impact that John himself has had on Rotary programs like ending polio worldwide and bringing water to countries and areas of countries that don't have it. So as you look at the Chamber's mission of advancing commerce and community, I want you to think about what's the happy dollar that you can contribute. Is it volunteering for a committee or a task force? Is it volunteering to bring a neighboring business to the next business after hours so you can share with them a little bit about what the Chamber is doing in our community? Is it participating in our small business network where you can mentor small businesses that are facing challenges in their organizations day in and day out, and they don't know where to turn? We definitely need the contributions of our board of directors. We definitely need the contributions of our chamber champions. But you know what? Unless we have your happy dollars in the form of time and talent and expertise and experience and human capital, unless we have those things, we can't possibly be the Chamber of Commerce we need to be. So I encourage you to make a commitment sometime in this first quarter, a commitment of a happy dollar to the Chamber. And think about the dramatic effect. If everybody in this room were to commit a happy dollar of time, talent, energy, human capital, whatever it may be, if everyone in this room were to make that commitment, what would we be able to accomplish? By making that commitment, you individually will make a positive difference in the Moore County community. You personally will advance commerce and community. Thank you.